Originally, I was not going to make a video about this because I thought I didn't really have much to say at first. But now I kinda do. This past Friday, Zoran Mamdani went to the White House and met with Trump, and they had a meeting, which unfortunately was not public. Boy, would I have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that. But they had a Q&A with the press afterwards, and Trump was incredibly chummy with Zoran. And I can't say I'm totally surprised because Trump is easily swindled by charismatic personalities and people who are, or posture themselves at least, as strong figures. And above all else, Zoran is a winner. He started the year off as practically a nobody, to defying all odds and blowing Cuomo the fuck out during the primary, and then to getting over 1 million votes and getting over 50% of the vote in a three-way race in the general. But leading up to this meeting, I was like, I don't know, I also wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being like the Zelensky meeting, because Zoran is a radical socialist who's going to allow crime to run rampant in NYC. He's a scary brown Muslim man who's going to implement Sharia law here in the city. He hates Jewish people because he doesn't like Israel's genocide in Gaza. And all of these other stupid fucking smears thrown at Zoran that I thought Trump might use as justification to not work with him. But this went down about as good as it possibly could. And this isn't to give any kudos to Donald Trump because I know, given how incredibly irrational, erratic, and impulsive he is, probably by this time next week he'll go back to calling Zoran a radical communist who's going to destroy New York City. All of my kudos goes to Zoran. One, he's just incredibly charismatic, and all of these stupid smears that are levied against him, that rely on creating this fictionalized, nefarious version of him, are immediately dispelled once you hear him speak for like a minute. And I think the result of this meeting is yet another playbook that the Democratic Party as a whole should follow, but probably won't. But still, he went straight into the lion's den and did not compromise on any of his values or any of his agenda he plans to enact in the city, and he stuck true to the message he's been banging on like a drum this past year. I want to make this city more affordable. I want to improve quality of life in this city. I want more housing for people in this city. But I will not go about achieving this goal at the expense of marginalized people the Trump administration wishes to go after, like immigrants for example, and throwing them under the bus if it means I maintain the support from the administration. No, Trump himself even said they have clear disagreements and differences on key issues that they'll try to work around. We'll see how that unfolds, I suppose, but at least for the time being, they seem to be friendly adversaries, if adversaries is even an applicable word in this situation, because my god, Trump was gushing over him. But the point I'm trying to convey is Zoran has a clear, strong message that resonates not only with many people in this city, but he has achieved nationwide fame not only for running a masterful campaign, but for actually addressing and having a clear plan on how to rectify the issues that many of his constituents face. He has acknowledged over and over again that we are in the midst of an affordability crisis. Many people's paychecks, especially here in a city as expensive as NYC, barely cover groceries, barely cover bills they have to pay. And it is the simple acknowledgement of the issues that plague everyday working class New Yorkers, and laying out exactly how he will tackle these issues, that has gotten so many people on board with his message. Because he's such a breath of fucking fresh air. Finally, someone who seems like they actually give a shit about the average folk, and not tied to corporate and or billionaire dark money. And someone who has core principles and will not break from said principles. Compare him to mealy-mouthed, feckless pieces of shit like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer. Do you really think Trump respects Democrats like those in the same way that he seemingly respects Zoran? Fuck no. Because they fold like lawn chairs over and over again for Republicans, the latest and perhaps most egregious example being the government shutdown. The shutdown was an inarguable disaster for Republicans. Average voters took notice of which party really wanted to cut their SNAP benefits, among other things. And that led to an unexpected upset in favor of the Democrats this past election day, and many old guard establishment Democrats took that momentum and fucking squashed it. So when you have such an inept opposition party, it's really no surprise that a figure like Zoran is seen as this beacon of hope in this fucked up political climate. And speaking of opposition, Zoran never once complimented Trump during this press conference. He never once kowtowed to him in any sort of way. Even just today, the day I'm recording this video, I think an interview came out where he says, yes, I maintain that Donald Trump is a fascist. fascist. Even in the fucking Oval Office, when he was standing right next to Trump, a reporter asked him, "So do you still maintain that Trump is a fascist now that you want to work with him?" And he was about to answer until Trump cut him off and said, "That's okay, you can say yes." For all of the many awful things you can say about Trump, he has his funny moments, I'll give him that. But this is why I am so happy that the meeting went seemingly as well as it did. Zero acquiescence to Trump. It seemed like Zoran laid out the issues he is willing to work with Trump on. Issues that, if they team up together to tackle, can hopefully lead to a more affordable NYC. And Zoran has been upfront about this from the get-go. He has said, "I'm willing to work with Trump if it means improving quality of life in this city." And that seems to be what he communicated to Trump in this meeting, and add in his superhuman level charisma, and him actually having a fucking backbone. Trump was receptive. You see, when you have real principles that you stand by and don't break from when it's most convenient, and have some semblance of a spine and don't immediately cave when there's even a hint of pressure against you, you might actually be able to get shit done, and get shit done with the help of people you might have never thought previously you'd be collaborating with. And this isn't some preach fest about bipartisanship and unity with Republicans, because, again, Zoran has made it clear he still does not consider Trump an ally. But if Trump is actually serious about wanting to help him to achieve a better quality of life in NYC, we'll see about that. So long as that does not involve compromising on his core message and selling out groups of people the Trump administration rails against, then he is willing to collaborate with them. Take notes, DNC. And also, I laugh at all of the people fear-mongering over Zoran during the election. Oh my god, crime is going to be so rampant under him, when Trump literally fucking said during that press conference, "Yeah, I would feel safe living in NYC with Zoran as the mayor." Suck it, you propagandists. Oh, and one more thing, and this is completely unrelated to the subject of the video, but I may as well say something about this piece of news. Good fucking riddance to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hope to never hear from you again after you resign in January, even though I know that is not going to be the case, but still, good fucking bye regardless. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.